Pulp MX Network production.
Welcome to the Troy Lee Designs and Racetech Suspension and Engines Blair Matthes Project.
Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to another edition of the Troy Lee Designs Racetech Blair Matthes Project. We are back. We haven't been canceled. Imagine that. All the guys that are supporting us are still on board after 4 or 5 episodes. So thank you out there for watching and listening. Appreciate it. I'm Steve Matthes. With me is Daniel Blair. Thank you to Troy Lee Designs, Racetech, Zools, Seat Concepts, Firepower, Maxxis, ASV Levers, Decal Works, Alpine Stars, all on board with us, and we'll tell you more about them later. But Troy Lee Designs, email us using the contact form on Pulp, and you can get a code to save with those guys. Born in 1981, TLD started with custom painted helmets, as we all know. And now they're making some of the most iconic gear in the motocross and mountain biking world, from bold helmet designs to durable apparel. Troy Lee Designs is all about pushing boundaries and standing out. Visit troyleedesigns.com and ride with gear that says you're not another rider. You're there to make a statement. And of course, Justin Barsha wearing TLD stuff and looking pretty good in it. The Yamaha MX2 guys as well use Troy Lee Designs over in the MXGP series. And also thank you to folks at Racetech, racetech.com. Whether you're big, small, skinny, poofy, Racetech can make your suspension work for you. Get your right spring right, dial your bike in, and they can do that. It'll make your riding your bike a whole lot more enjoyable. Tell them you listen to Pulp MX. They'll give you a deal. And, man, check out their website. Super informative, super full of info, I guess. Same as informative. And, yeah, tell them you listen to Pulp Save with Racetech, and email us using the contact form for Troy Lee Designs discount. We'll tell you more about the other guys later. But there he is. Main Event Moto, Supercross U, Arena Cross TV, X Supercross TV, X Eagle Grit, Daniel Blair.
Like a life history right out of the gate. The do's and don'ts of the last few years, Steve. Hey, I got to start this though. I want to start with some energy. Bring me in to the stadium last Saturday night, because I watched from a hotel on a laptop, so I didn't get to feel it. What was it like? Straight up.
Yeah, it was cool. About the time Malcolm Stewart got into third and was making time, people were getting crazy. They were starting to get really loud and absolutely nuts. Kellen was there also. He can vouch for this. Obviously, Orlando is really Malcolm's hometown, but we don't go there anymore, so this is the next best thing. Maybe Daytona is. But, yeah, crowd was into it. They loved it. It was such a cool, feel-good story. I go to a lot of races, and a lot of races I just sit there and go, okay, what time's my flight in the morning? Because, yeah, it's a lot of them are the same. This one, I'll remember this one, man. It was cool. It was great. Malcolm's an awesome dude. Great for Nathan Ramsey. Great for Rockstar Husqvarna. Bad for Chase Sexton. Great everywhere else. Kellen, are you with me? The stadium was pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, it really was. And, I think what really caught me is that, like you said, once he got into third, and then really when he got into second, it was like every time he would come by a section of the grandstands, like the crowd would all stand up. It was like a wave of people around the stadium reacting to this charge. And gosh, they were so loud when Chase went down and went in the lead, because we sit in like a soundproof-ish press box, and like it was pretty loud even up there. So obviously it must have been deafening if you were just in the stadium without all that stuff.
Yeah, and also we talked about this last night on the Pulp Show, and Big Lou brought it up, and then Marks verified it. Did you know, Daniel, that Malcolm had the 14 fastest times in the segment with the whoops? That's not a misprint. Unbelievable. He told us on the show he was grabbing 5th in the whoops.
Oh, he was grabbing whatever. And you know what was cool is that line he was doing before it. You could see him that cut under 2, 3. And it was rad. I was in a hotel on a laptop watching, and he's in second. He's making passes, and I'm like, man, Malcolm's going to get a podium tonight. And then I'm like, oh, wow, he's actually catching Chase really, really fast. I started doing my own math, and I'm like, okay, this lap he could get to him, but maybe next lap he goes. And then all of a sudden it's like swap left, right. Chase goes down. And then I thought Malcolm was going to hit him. I was like, it seemed pretty close. I don't know how close it really was, but after that, I was like in this euphoric state the rest of the main. I was just like, throw the white. Just end it right now. Like, we don't even need to do 20. Screw it. Just end this thing before something happens. And then, of course, that last lap, I just love how the camera was catching the top of the heads and the very bottom of the stand. You could just see him going nuts. And dude, I felt it many states away with no volume. I couldn't believe it. The sport is so rad. And if you would have told me at the beginning of the year, Malcolm was going to win Tampa, I'd have been like, man, I'm not seeing that. He's had a rough couple of years and the field is so gnarly. I gave up, Steve. I actually had given up, and I'm just so glad he did it. It was like a history-making moment for the sport too. Unbelievable, 2 brothers, and just think those Lawrence boys, they were going to get it. But good job, Malcolm. Seal it for the Stewart Bros.
Well, I forgot one of your jobs off the top. My bad. Ex-Orange Brigade guy, but that ties into my question for you. Nathan Ramsey, guy you know well. He was sort of your immediate supervisor. He helped you get the job there. Always a great dude, great career in the sport. Stand-up guy. Yeah, you got to be happy for him, Daniel.
So pumped for Nate, dog, because I think we may have talked about it on this show, but he has had to deal with some stuff, man, between the injuries with, Cochran and Guillaume Ferris last year and Craig for 2 years, just endless injuries. Malcolm, I mean, I was there the day Malcolm did his knee at the KTM track, and it was the weirdest little fall. The whole mood was just so, this is like a year or two ago. The whole mood just goes down, and I see Nate's face, and he's just like, God. But the dude just hangs in there. He always just keeps an even keel, machine-like focus forward. And so to see him down there and celebrate with Malcolm, I was so happy for him and for everyone. And I know Pitt Bear was there too. So just a rad night, just unbelievably. From a fan's perspective, I felt so fulfilled, like still to today. I still feel it. And just rad story.
And as rad as that story was, Pierce Brown's crash is a bummer. Kenny coming up with the lappers and going down and DNFing. Eli with the injury and getting lapped twice. So there were certainly some moments of Tampa that were not awesome and not great things to talk about, but that's the sport, man. That is supercross and motocross. You and I, Kellen, we've all been involved with it for a long time, and them's the breaks, man.
And you're right. Take the Malcolm victory out. Say Chase just cruises away with a nice, easy victory. We're kind of like, oh, good ride, Chase. And then we're probably focused on all of the bad because even Faulkner gets sick. RJ gets stuck on a tough block for like 5. I don't know what that was. You got a cameraman going down on a tough. There was so much bad. And then Malcolm just saves the whole Tampa night. And because I was feeling like Nashville. This felt like Nashville to me. Remember that a couple of years ago when it was like every 2 minutes someone got hurt? It felt like that. And I was like, what's going on? And then Malcolm just saved the night. So kudos to the Stewarts for, and then James, big James on the floor. Little James in the boot. I just felt like it was just a rad, magical moment for the sport. So that's why I wanted to start with the question. So what did it sound like? Because I didn't get to hear that one. So
no, it was cool. And Malcolm said on the show that James oftentimes talks to him after practice and gives him advice. And then Malcolm said, hey, I can't jump the quad like you can. And I know your advice is like, hey, just jump more quads, but I'm your little brother. And you've seen me ride, and I'm not doing that. And then James, I guess little James gets disgusted that Malcolm won't jump quads to win the races. So that was a really funny interview.
Was that the Sexton thing too? Wasn't it James trying to get Chase to do a bunch of, or is it the other way around? I remember there was something like that with Chase too. Some kind of a thing where like, I'm not you, dude. Like I can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. James just giving some advice.
Yeah. Do that quad. What?
Yeah, exactly. Lots to get into on the show here. Thanks to Troy Lee Designs. Thanks to Race Tech. Also, thanks to Seat Concepts, the Seat Concepts guys, Max and everybody there. They've been saving asses since 2009. It's your go-to brand for all things seats. From Race 2.0 to the Comfort Series, proprietary foam and handcrafted seat shapes are made in the USA. Pulp 25 to save at Seat Concepts. Complete seats, covers, foam, all of that. Factory Beta, Phoenix Racing, M-Pro Yamaha, SLR Honda. All sponsored by Seat Concepts. Thank you to those guys for coming on board. And also thank you to Maxxis Tires as well. You look at Mitchell Harrison in the main event and Hunter Yoder on the West with Maxxis Tires. Fast Freddy will be back. Look, Kay Clayson broke his arm, but it wasn't due to the Maxxis Tires that he was running. And Maxxis.com, great mountain bike tires developed by Jeremy McGrath. And thank you to the folks at Maxxis for coming on board. Chase Sexton, I think, and Malcolm kind of thought last night too, that Chase had a nice lead. I mean, I doubt Kellen or I or anybody there was really watching him that closely because he was going to take off and win and ho-hum. And then, Malcolm thought that once Chase saw him coming, that got into his head and it messed him up a little bit. And all of a sudden, like that 2-3 was not that hard. Chase wasn't doing it. Chase wasn't doing the tabletop section before that section as well. And Malcolm was catching him, and then Chase just, I don't know, man, his whoop speed just went south. I think it was a little bit mental. Big Lou does not, because he's the Chase Sexton super fan. But I mean, Daniel, you've been there. Like, you see this guy catching you, you hear the crowd, you're sort of powerless to stop it, but you're trying to think about what you need to do. And honestly, Chase, like by the end, was just not looking good in the whoops, and it bit him.
Yeah, it bit him bad on the night, but we'll go a little bigger picture here in a second with the championship, because he, I think, blew it big time with Cooper Webb. You had a chance to put some more on Webb, and you lost to him, and that you don't want him around in the points. So I think big picture, he really blew it. But I don't know if it was mental, physical. I can't get into his mind other than I've had moments like that, of course, at like Los Banos Fairgrounds, so not at the Supercross. So I'm not Chase Sexton here, but at the Los Banos Fairgrounds, Steve, I've been out front before where someone's catching you, and all of a sudden you just can't really get back going because Chase was ripping early. He kind of sprinted away, he looked pretty good. And then I don't know if he got into conservative mode, like you said, mental, whatever it was. All of a sudden the times dropped and he couldn't really get going again. And then the whoops fell apart for him. And I mean, in hindsight, he's probably wishing that he just survived it. And maybe he was really worried about Malcolm, and he was worried about the win. And for a champion and a championship caliber guy, I would have been a little bit more conservative. Maybe not. I don't know. Whatever it was, it messed him up. And a second place to Malcolm and getting past on that magical night for Malcolm wouldn't be that bad, because he still puts points on Webb and more on Eli and more on Kenny. So whatever it was, it's bad because he just let Webb flip him. I mean, he could have put 2 on him, and now he lost. What did he lose? 4 or 5, something like that to him. So really bad in the math, because Cooper Webb's going to be better in the end. We know that he's always better in the middle to the end, and now he's closer than he needed to be. So forget the win in Tampa. That's a big deal individually, but I look at the points and go, you don't want to do that. And so that to me is on Monday where he's going, oh man, because Cooper looked good too. He was aggressive. He was ripping the whoops also. Won his heat race, just got some points. And Cooper don't like to lose, but he's sitting up there going, oh yeah, I'll take this because Chase blew it. And with Eli's issue and Kenny's issue, kind of seems like those two now. And that was a big oops from Chase.
I know it seems like those two now, and we talked about this a little bit on the review show, but man, we just saw craziness. So, I mean, Kenny's 18 back, Eli's 21 back. That's within a race, that's under 25.
Yep.
So yeah, anything can happen. I'm not ready to start talking about like, oh, it's over for those dudes. Like, Chase can have his thing. Coop can have his weirdo race. Although Coop's pretty solid no matter what, unless, Alex screws the bike up. But yeah, so that one's, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to see because we're already 5 rounds down. But man, honestly, this same shit could happen at another race. So I'm not quite ready to say that unless these guys are over 25 back.
I'm with you. It's still we're in February, so we can't get that detailed on the points yet as far as who's in, who's out. But the pressure now for Kenny and Eli is you can't really miss anymore. You can't mess up anymore. And these guys all have like a mulligan here and there, that they use in the season. And Eli used one, Kenny used one. Jet used his up at round 1. He was hoping to never have that again. And then obviously out now. So if you're Cooper and Chase, you have a little insurance now. You haven't really used up yours yet. And Eli and Kenny did. So now they have to be really good. They can't go and put a 6 or a 7 on 1 week randomly because the math's bad. So I'm with you. It's not over. Anything can happen. I mean, Malcolm just won and we didn't call that. We didn't feel that. And it happened. So anything can happen in Detroit, Arlington, Daytona. But I would just hate to be in that spot in February where I'm already back against the wall, a little bit of pressure and can't slip again in a sport where they slip all the time. So it ain't over. I mean, we're just getting started, but I would hate to be down that much and then have to dig out without one more mess up allowed. That sucks.
Yeah, you got a good point there. They're probably not, their margin of error is gone. Hey, if you're Malcolm Stewart, or I should say, watching Malcolm Stewart do this and maybe be the best he has on the Husqvarna, I wonder what Christian Craig thinks. Now, Christian's coming back, a couple races, a Star Yamaha, back where he rode better on the Yamaha. But, they were kind of in the same spot. Injured, struggling with the bike, sort of older guys that none of us really thought could rebound. Christian is obviously going to start from further back off the surgery than Malcolm because Malcolm started Anaheim 1. But I do wonder if it like kind of gives Christian Craig a little bit of a boost knowing that, hey, I can come back from this, I can do this. It's just interesting to me to see Christian and see when he comes back. I don't know if it's probably next week, probably Dallas, but should be interesting to see what Christian can do.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, they had such similar timelines there. They were, different injuries at different times, but it was the same thing. They were just never got to get going all the way. Again, back to Nate Dogg. He's just sitting there and watching that 450 class going, God. So if you're a Christian watching that, yeah, you're probably stoked for your buddy too. You're probably like, wow. But I'd also be inspired. I'd be inspired by the fact that, hey, at 32 years old, when everyone thinks maybe it's over, you got a couple of years of injuries, a field's this, a field's that, you can still get it done because this sport allows big moments. There's big moments all the time. So if you're Christian or Barsha or any of these guys that are saying, hey, I want one more win or I want a podium or I want some more success, Malcolm should inspire everybody because, he had a rough couple of years. And even this year to start, it's been very quiet. It's been like good quiet. He's been riding okay, but it's just been so quiet. And then if the night is right and you're feeling good and your bike's good and the track suits you, which obviously had an advantage in those whoops, then it can all go your way. So yeah, Christian, Bam Bam, all you guys out there that are maybe looking for some more success here late, Malcolm just proved it can be done still. Even with Eli showing up and Chase and Cooper, right? You can still do it. So I like that you brought that up. I didn't think about Christian in this, but he should be inspired by this. And yeah, longer road, but maybe next year. But Malcolm's inspiring, man. It was awesome.
Tough blocks and sand sections. Those are two things that you wanted to touch on. The whining of the riders about the sand. I don't get it. Pipe down. I know it sucks. You don't have the tire on and that works well in sand and you don't have the goggles necessarily could jack up, and I'm with the guys on some of the horrific 180 turns where you just dump sand in and there's just an inside line and that's it. And you never go outside. So the track design does hurt the idea of sand, but dude, give me that sand straight away every single week. And stop whining, riders.
Dude, I, as a rider, would have been whining so bad. It was,
I'm sure,
but you're right. We're on this side, man. So, we'll give our opinion, which is it's rad. The sand, it's not always done right. It's not always done right. But I don't think this one was necessarily wrong. It was definitely deeper and tougher. Tampa always is that one. But I don't want to get rid of sand in general because I'm one of those people where if the kitchen sink is broken, you don't just remodel and blow out the whole kitchen. You fix the kitchen sink. And for me, sand works, I think, more than it doesn't. So just because we had one that took a bunch of dudes and made the superstars look silly, like Kitchen looked kind of silly when he fell over in it, I don't think just because of that we go sand now out because sand has been good. I thought Glendale's sand section was rad. We've had some really good ones. So I would not eliminate the section. I would just maybe put more attention on making sure it's going to work right so that the guys are able to race it and not whine about it. So, but yeah, to get rid of it and act like it needs to go. That's the same type of talk with the Dragon's Back thing, which I've been hammering this year. You don't need to get rid of Dragon's Backs. You just get rid of the landing. If you get rid of the landing, you just land a flat and there's nothing wrong with 4 uphill whoops. In fact, it's kind of cool and creative. And they took them all the way out because of Nashville. And it's like, no, we can do them right. And that's how sand is. You can do it right. And when it's right, it's awesome. So that one was tough. I get it. I understand the whining, but to eliminate it just because of that round, I don't know, man. I'm a fan. I'm sorry. I'm on this side now and I like it. So I'm sorry.
Tough blocks?
Yeah. I don't know. That one, I'm really bummed for RJ. I feel like he got robbed. He got stuck on that thing like it was super glue. So I feel bad for that. And I know you're a tough block revolutionary in your own mind. Is that
hater?
Right?
I'm a tough block hater because, like, what are they there for? They're there for advertising. Let's face it. They are not there for safety or to show the guys which way to go on the track. They're there for advertising and they're strewn about the track. They're catching RJ up. They get kicked out. Do they save riders? Yes. 20% of the time, 10% of the time they save you. The other 80% of the time they kill you. And I don't know why JT last night joked about dude, I think hay bales are better. Let's go back to hay bales. I don't know, but they didn't move. you know?
Yeah. Have you ever cased a hay bale?
Oh, yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
trampoline, man, sends you over the bars so bad. I did one at a race in Fallon, Nevada once. I landed on a hay bale and I woke up like, I don't know where. I mean, it was brutal. So I'm with you, and I understand the history. They do look cool. Like when you're in the stands, it makes the whole thing look so amazing. But they are a menace. They are a menace. So I'm not a solution person when it comes to Tough Blocks. I think you've been hinting around at different ideas that you have. So maybe it just needs to be examined and looked at and improved. Again, maybe we don't throw it out, but maybe we examine. And I don't know. I'm a big like surgery guy, like fix the issue in the surgery, but you don't just wipe it out. That's my method. So keep them, but maybe let's look at something. Let's experiment and look around at a solution to keep the branding, keep the cool look of Supercross, but maybe we don't catch Hunter Lawrence and some of these guys. So that would be my opinion.
They're a menace, and they deserve to be stricken from Supercross tracks or come up with a better idea. Make them triangular. Give them some trays so they don't move around so much. Like, what is the purpose? Maybe Kellen knows. What is the purpose of that round tough block thing? It's on the inside of turns a lot of times. It's, sort of like a circular. Yeah. What is the purpose of that, Kellen?
I don't know that it really serves a purpose other than that it's not a, like as you say, a cubed or squared tough block. So it's easier for riders if they're going to tuck to the inside. They're not going to hit their foot peg or usually their foot on it. But obviously, as we see, I feel like they do more harm than good. And that particular one that RJ was on got knocked onto the track like 5 times on the weekend. It was just over and over and over again. So I don't really.
Is that an RJ issue or was that one getting some?
No, it got knocked out several times throughout qualifying. I think in a couple heat races or something like that. So it's not even like staked down or anything like that. It just is a literally flying saucer flying across the track.
What about when they put them on the inside of like off camber turns where you like jump up from a single onto an off camber and there's an inside rut there? Like a couple of years ago in Indy, it was just sitting there and then it would get pulled out. And then the monster, the dig dug guy grabbed it and threw it over the rut in the inside turn. So then the next guy who had taken that rut for 14 laps was like, oh shit, there's a foam disc here. And like, yeah, there's just no sense to that. I just don't get it. Like, I don't know, man. It's like the same idea as a mascot. Do we need mascots? No, they're stupid. They don't do anything. Nobody cares. And so same as those tough blocks. They're just ridiculous.
Tough blocks are mascots. Steve Matthes.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be going on X here in about 45 minutes.
Daniel, what the lappers with Kenny, we talked about it a lot on the show last night. Do you give Ken Roczen any % of the blame pie for that incident with lappers?
Yeah, probably about 80% on Kenny.
Oh, wow. Phil Nicoletti would like to talk to you.
That's fine. So here's the deal. And I'll make it quick because I don't want to get into it and get all hot and bothered. But no, Kenny tried to split a gap that was very hard to split. I mean, he was in the moment. He was chasing Coop. Coop just got him. He wanted to get him back. And it was a gnarly sand section. And he tried to split 2 privateers. And if you go back and watch the video, Hand kind of obviously he's on the very inside and the straightaway before, kind of goes tight in the corner a little bit, checks up. And then I don't know what his other option would be other than to stop, because he still took the furthest left line that there was a rut. The far left was like just sand of nonsense. So I guess you want him to just magically know that there was 3 guys coming to lap him and not 1, and then turn to the far left edge and either go through the far left scared to death or stop. That was the only 2 other options he had. There was nothing else that he could have done right there. And so, no, I at the end of the day, it was Kenny's decision to go for the gap. It was Kenny's decision. I mean, it was Kenny's consequences when it didn't work. So am I bummed that it happened? Absolutely. I hate the fact that the lapper thing plays a role in a podium or a win. I absolutely hate it. But watching it back, I don't know what Hand could have done other than just come to a complete stop. And no one has ever done that as a lapper. Like, they don't do that. They're racers too. So I don't think he did anything egregious other than kind of tried to check up a little and then got to the sand and went, well, I guess I'll go. I don't know what else he's supposed to do. And then Kenny split the gap and it didn't work. So I'm a big self-ownership guy. No matter what the circumstances, when you come off an error, a mishap, whatever, you first look at yourself and say, okay, what did I do wrong in the situation? And I would have said, man, I shouldn't have gone for that gap. I should have just backed out last second. Yes, I would have lost Coop, but hey, a third is better than a DNF. And ultimately I would have said, man, I blew that. Then secondly, I would have gone to, all right, well, this lapper thing is a joke though, guys. We got to figure something out here. Let's collectively sit down and not just bitch about it, but let's actually sit down and get a solution. But there's none of that. It just came right out and it was like his fault. And that's not fair because he didn't do anything.
Well, I didn't hear Kenny say that. To be fair, I didn't hear Kenny blame.
Well, maybe not him.
Yeah.
Maybe not him, but collectively, I saw a lot online immediately that it was like Kenny got effed, which he did, but it was a lot of finger pointing at Han specifically. And if it was roles reversed and it was Tristan Lane on the other side, it would have been Tristan Lane everyone's pointing their finger at because he would have had no other real option either. So again, go back and watch the video and tell me what he was supposed to do outside of just stopping or riding the very left edge of the sand section that all of them were having a hard time getting through anyway. So no, it's always on yourself first if you take a gamble and it doesn't work. So I that's just me. I'm sorry if you don't agree, but I'm self-ownership guy and I would have owned it myself first, then went and looked for a solution. And so that's my opinion. It was on Kenny. He's the one who made the choice to go for it and tried to split two privateers in the gnarliest sand section of the year. That's a heavy gamble and it didn't work. That's my opinion.
Bill Nicoletti would like to have a word with you.
That's fine.
He thinks those lappers. Look, there's no doubt that Jeremy Han went right, but it was sand section, and he was gassing it, and it's sand. And yeah, someone said to me when I was talking about it, well, what do you want Kenny to do? Check up? And I'm like, yes. Sorry, he's going to lose time, but lapping is part of Supercross. And should the lappers be better? Yes, there's some classic guys out there that try to take advantage of the blue flag and get a spot or all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, man, Kenny, that was a sketchy gamble. And I like what you said, it didn't work. And I'm
gutted for him. And I hate it because I want him to win the title. I think it would be the raddest story in the sport. But at the end of the day, you have to own your own mistakes. And that was his mistake to go for something that really ended up not being there. And again, I don't know what the alternate move for Han would have been other than to stop. And they've never done that in the history of being lapped. They don't do that. This is the 1,000th time this has happened. So to me, maybe we need to look at some solutions and some consequences, because when there is no consequences and the rules are fuzzy, a privateer rider is not going to just go way out of the way, way out of the way, make a lucky call and do it for somebody. That's not how it goes as a racer. Not when you're at 180 heart rate and you're coming up to a sand section that he's probably scared to death of anyways. So no, it was terrible circumstances, but to act like this was Jeremy Han's fault individually and that Kenny gets no blame, to me that's crazy. That's crazy.
What's also crazy is the Pulp 25 code saves at ZoolsBagCode.com, that bag that Daniel's got behind him there. Zools is proud to sponsor the Triumph team, Trey Kennard as well, and they choose Zools for their travel and equipment organization needs. They got a massive bag. It's so huge. I forget what it's called. Like, it's called the Godzilla or it's called something. And this bag could fit Daniel in it. It's massive. Oh, yeah. And they got backpacks, roller travel bags, gear bags, and more. Zools is the official luggage sponsor of Triumph. Like I said, Phoenix Racing as well. Pulp 25 at ZoolsBagCode.com. Great quality bags. Check it out. And FirePowerParts.com. Loading ramps. Daniel knows a thing or two about that. Stands, tie downs, batteries, oil, chains, firepowerparts.com. Go to their website. You'll be surprised at all the cool shit that they have. Firepowerparts.com, sponsoring the Club MX guys, amongst others. And TLD Race Tech, of course, the title guys for this. Email us using the contact form on Pulp if you want a code to save and get yourself some cool-ass TLD mountain bike stuff or dirt bike stuff. All right, Daniel, question for you.
Hold up. Kellen.
What?
Don't you clip that and put that on social, by the way. What I said about Kenny. You keep that off of social. You make the listeners go through the show and find it. Don't you be putting that on Insta.
Come on, DV. Don't you want the numbers, though?
I'll say some other spicy stuff. We got time, but don't clip that one, all right? I'll go straight to HR. Don't do it. It's a one-time warning, Kellen.
Hottakes.com, starring Daniel Blair.
Yeah, I'll give you I'll give you a better one here to close the show, but you keep that one off. I've had a rough month on social, so just
how about this? Clip this, Daniel. Jerry Jones came out in a quote and said he is surprised the Cowboys are not in the Super Bowl. Oh, there we go. He's out. Jerry Jones. The fact that Jerry, I don't know why he's allowed to speak to reporters at this point. Like, someone should tell the old man, "Hey, old man, like, you're crazy. You've lost your mind. You're senile. Don't talk to the media, Jerry. Let his kid do it." Because Jerry just sounds like a bigger buffoon every time he talks to the media. I'm all in. I'm surprised we're not here. I'm going to hire this retread coach who, I forget his quote. It's something about everyone thinks of him as an assistant, but I don't think that. I don't know, whatever Jerry said. Jerry should stop talking, Daniel.
I agree with you 100%. You and I, we agree on a lot of things, but this one, it's 1000% in unison. Shut him up. Don't speak again. And don't let his son speak either. Hire a GM and own the team and just shut up.
Okay. There you go, Kellen. There's your clip.
Clip that one.
Okay.
Tag Jerry too. I don't mind.
So Daniel, if you've been in the role of a team manager, obviously for the kids and stuff, but you're also a racer as well at a very high level. I don't know. Long conversation after the race by the Star Rig with some VIP people on Star about Justin Cooper and his whoops. It's killing him. There's talk about getting the great Justin Brayton to help him out. He can skim whoops. I've seen it, but now that's in his head. And so the people we were talking to were saying that during the week at the goat farm, he jumps through the whoops. He's faster than Cooper Webb, who's blitzing. And he just goes, suck on that, everybody. It's fast. And then on Saturdays, it's killing him. But then if you flip it around, he got fourth. He rode really well, even with the whoops killing him. So then if you're Justin Cooper, you're like, suck on that, bitches. That works. But then we watch the TV and we see what happens. And the guys at Star are like, we don't know what to do. It's totally in his head. He thinks jumping is better or it's fine. And I don't know.
He's a year late. That was last year. Last year, it was jumpy jump. It was nice and 9 and whatever. They have made a very good effort to make the whoops tougher this year. They have been better. Not every, I mean, they haven't been gnarly, I don't think. But Steve, would you agree that this year's whoops have been better? They've been more challenging, but it's
all
been
the tracks.
worth it to blitz. Yeah. They've been great, I think. So to me, he's a year late with his theory, but because he's such a good starter and he's so freaking fast everywhere and he's so consistent, he can still pull off some things. The question that I would have for him is, are you okay with where you're at? Because you're never going any further like this. This is the cap that you've put yourself in. And if you're good with that, well, we need to know, because that's going to help us make decisions in the future. If you want to be better and you want to be a winner, then do what Cooper Webb's done, because Cooper Webb, I believe, is a little smaller. I think he's a little shorter than Justin, maybe about an inch. Cooper Webb's had a terrible whoop history too. And now, like, multiple weeks, you see his name sneaking up in the whoop charts. Like, he's actually getting to, I think this week, maybe, was he second? Was he the second best? Or a couple weeks ago, he was first. So anyway,
okay.
I guess the point would be is that Cooper has made a very strong effort, Cooper Webb, to make that better for him. And that if he wins this championship, he can look back and say, hey, I'm glad I upped my whoop game, because without it, I probably don't win this thing. So that would be my question for Justin Cooper. Are you cool with where you're at? Because if you are, we'd like to know that. And if you're not good with where you're at, then let's take a look at what Cooper Webb has done. Let's bring in Justin Brayton or Christian. I mean, Christian Craig's probably not going to help him anymore, I'd say. But at the same time, if you want to fix it, let's go fix it. But if not, if this is how you want to do it, then sounds good to me. But then you kind of know what you got. So that's simple as that.
And to go further into the conversation, so these whoops at the goat farm, Cooper Webb knows that jumping them is faster because Justin Cooper is pulling away.
But doesn't. It hammers him.
But Cooper Webb's like, well, on Saturday, I need to blitz. So on Wednesday, I will blitz these and lose time to J-Coop in a moto, but I don't care because I need to blitz, because on Saturday, that's when I need to blitz. And these guys are saying, like, Coop is just, he's putting his ego aside and knowing that J-Coop's going to pull away from him there, but it doesn't matter because it's a Wednesday. But I am interested, though, because, again, there's been talk about getting Justin Brayton to help J-Coop. And then I'm like, there's Christian Craig. He's right there. He's going to help everybody. He's helping 250s. Can he not help J-Coop? Or maybe J-Coop, like that raging alcoholic uncle that doesn't want help. Maybe he's just saying, I don't want help. I'm the raging alcoholic uncle, and I'm fine.
Justin Cooper is a raging alcoholic. Steve Matthes. That's going on X here in a second, too.
It's the uncle that won't go get help for his drinking at Thanksgiving. That ruins every Thanksgiving.
Kellen, flip that, please, this week. Get Steve this week. Well, how about this, too? If you're blitzing them all week, you're understanding your motorcycle better and you're having to set your bike up around that. And then you're adapting around the rest of the track for a bike that's set up for that. So if Justin, I'm telling you right now, if you took whoops out of the game, you could set your bike up completely different. You could make it corner way better. You could do so many things with your motorcycle if whoops didn't exist. So if you're jumping them and you take the blitzing out, now you're making your motorcycle work around something that's not as real. You know, he's good everywhere else, but he's not good here. And that could be bike setup too. So it sounds to me like Webb has committed, figuring it out, sets his bike up to do it, has learned to master the rest of the track with a bike set up for whoops, and is sitting there in range, ready to go and chase down a championship. He's right there. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can control the guy and tell him what he has to do, but I would tell him like, dude, why don't we just blitz from here on out and just get.
It's Star Racing. You can tell him what to do. It's Star Racing. You tell him what to do.
I don't agree with that either, because he's the one on the bike taking the risk, and I don't agree with that. When you are the rider, you end up getting the say on what you want to do out there. Now the consequences may come when it comes to re-signing, but he makes the ultimate call on what he wants to do. He's the rider. He takes all the risk. So
make a note, Kellen, that Supercross U does not tell you to blitz whoops. Supercross U will let you decide what you want to do and maybe get you a trophy even.
Absolutely. If you want to get a ribbon for fourth, then keep hopping the whoop.
I will say to add to this.
Don't clip that.
I will say to add to this, two things. Cooper Webb, Justin Cooper, both listed at 5'7", so maybe a hair taller or whatever, but about the same height. So you're right there. And then I asked Justin Cooper after the race this weekend why he jumps, like what's the deal? And he said that they tried to work on blitzing in the offseason. He never got comfortable. Still doesn't feel comfortable. So they, as you said, DB, specifically focused on dialing in the bike everywhere else and just commit to the jump line. So that's from what he is trying to do.
Makes sense.
That's
what you would do if you chose that route. You would do that, but that puts a cap on what you can do. Unless, of course, we show up and there's 9 whoops and they're going jump, jump, jump all year. Then, dude, he looks like a genius. But that's not the case. The whoops have been tough this year. I mean, ask Chase.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm with Daniel. There's a cap on what you're going to do. And I know the people that I talk to at Star, they're not like, oh, yeah, cool, man. You know, cool. Like, they know it's hurting them. But, again, he got fourth. Good ride, you know.
Because he's so good everywhere else. He's a starter. He's a sprinter. He's got great. I mean, think about how deadly he would be if he did have that one last piece. Hey, and maybe that's next year. I don't know, but he's capped for sure with where he's at, because those top guys are. I mean, look at Malcolm. Malcolm won the race because of it. So you're not going to do much more unless you fix it.
14 fastest times in the whoops, grabbing 5th gear. Malcolm Stewart
going in so fast on the first 5, like they weren't there.
Yeah. Okay, Daniel, switching to 250 East. RJ Hampshire, he's 21 back. Tough block, lap down. By the way, do you think I don't know if this is a dumb point or not, but we were arguing about it in the press box with 7 Deuce Deuce and Chad's kids and Big Lou and everybody else. Should RJ have gotten his lap back for, after the stagger start?
You know what's funny is when they set him back up, I was like, dude, RJ just lucked out. And then I'm like, he's still a lap down the whole, like, what happened? So I realized in the moment that they didn't give him his lap back, right? So he had to pass all of them to unlap.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. But
I mean,
yeah.
Rules are rules, dude. I mean, I'm a rule follower when they're there, when it's black and white.
Okay.
And so no, he should not have gotten his lap back, but man, it would have been nice. It would have been nice for the guy to get it back. But I do think I understand why they did what they did, which is because he was a whole lap down. So I get it. And I've never seen that situation before. I don't even know if it's in the rule book. Is there writing on this?
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
I've just never seen or heard of anyone being a lap down and then a red flag and then they get to, catch a lap up. I've never heard of it. So he was a lap down, so I get it, but I just feel bad for him because I mean, the dude won his heat and he's a legit title threat and favorite. And I still think I know where you're going with this is he got a shot still. He does.
Yeah. Like he's 21 back and it's a short series and it's stacked. So I kind of think, I don't know, man. I mean, look, anything can happen. McAdoo, Hammaker have not known to stay on 2 wheels. Bennick's a rookie. RJ's faster than Vial.
Not worried about him. Max.
Yeah.
Max looks put together, dude. That guy is, I mean, he's been really good for a couple years now. And now it just looks complete. And I've been calling him Christian Craig 2.0 because he's that older guy who is eligible for whatever reason, who has really got it together, and kaboom, there he is with the win. So my only fear for RJ is Max, because he looks really put together, and it fits the star mold to go get that guy and go get it done with a vet. And I think RJ can catch the rest of them, but I would have a hard time buying into the fact that he can catch 21 on Max without a problem. And I don't see problems coming for him. I mean, to me, it's not over. It's round one, but man, he controls his own destiny. So, I mean, with Pierce was going to be maybe the one to straight beat him speed wise. Faulkner, I think, has something, but he obviously was sick. But with Dak second, McAdoo, Hammaker, Vial, with that lineup right there, I'd be feeling pretty solid if I'm Max right now. If I'm RJ, I'm stressing him. Singular.
Outside of Max, McAdoo can't stay on the bike and has a torn ACL. Hammaker's never finished a Supercross series. Daxton's terrible last year, and he lost more points, by the way, for the jumping on the Red Cross. Vial is solid and steady. Hymas has this arm pump thing he's coming off of, and the ACL. Thrasher is so up and down. Kitchen is solid, but he's coming off a ninth. Like, you start looking at Max's competitors, and you can see a path here, like everyone's got obstacles, and everyone had that crappy, and the other guys had crappy first rounds. And I mean, Max isn't going to go on I don't think he's got the raw speed to beat Levi or even RJ, say one-on-one, but then he can grab second or third and just lose 2 or 3 points, So it does seem like it's only one round. Anything can happen, but Max ain't exactly known as someone, a cartwheeler or someone who's all over the place,
Well, remember we were talking at the beginning about that little bit of insurance that Webb and Sexton would have. Now Max has the insurance because Faulkner, RJ, Kitchen, they lost a lot of points. Tom's right there. Tom could still be sneaky good in this thing. I mean, he's the champ. So he would be the one right now that I'm looking at going, mathematically, I still have one eye open on him. But if you're Max Anstie right now, you have got yourself a little bit of luxury due to the fact that everyone else that you felt was going to be your tough competitor, they all had issues. So now he doesn't have to win. He can get a second or a third, like you said. He doesn't have to cartwheel or go for it, because he can play the game. And if a second's there, take a second. Third's there. But then when the win's there, take the win. And when you get that choice, when you're able to actually sit in the moment and make business decisions up front because of your points, you don't screw up as much, especially when you're in your 30s and you're a Motocross of Nations winner, Llama winner. The dude is really, really good. So he's got a really sweet spot right now with the way everything went for everybody else. But Tom would be the one right now. I'd say, I think he could be better than he was. At least I think Tom has more to offer, where the other guys are going to have to be pretty great to come out of it. So
Big Lou dropped a bomb on the show last night. And I mean, no one is more plugged in with the Dirt Bike Depot than Lewis Phillips. And Big Lou dropped a bomb that looks like Triumph is going to hire away Linville for a spot. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens. He's been really good.
Georgia, I think he's around that area too.
He's from Georgia. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Yep. Kellen, let's give Kellen. I'm going to spring this on you guys. I didn't mention this, but it's time for Kellen's weekly Max Vohland update. Just didn't go well, but I need thoughts on his riding, thoughts on his handbrake, thoughts on any gamer stuff that you guys talked about. Let's just give the floor to Kellen for his favorite rider, and he can, give us a bunch of excuses on why Max Vohland didn't win.
I think it went well. He was running as high as like 7th or 8th, and then they said that there was a clutch issue, and so he cased the crap out of the finish line, jumped like 5 laps in, and then rolled to a stop. And the bike was done, and he couldn't restart the race either. So that was a little bit of a bummer. But I don't know. I thought he looked pretty good all day for coming back and dealing with this injury still, because it's not 100% better, and he's going to keep building and all that stuff like that. So I thought it was pretty much exactly what I expected out of him for this weekend, just like right around the end of the factory train kind of thing.
All right, fair enough. We'll check in with Kellen Brower each and every week on Max Vohland Takes. All right, DB, Decal Works and ASV are also on board with us.
Yes, and they are absolutely great. Let me get my reads out here. ASV Inventions has been innovating American-made motocross components and tools since the year 2000. Pioneers in innovation, starting with the original folding unbreakable levers. ASV levers are tested and used by top professional racers and teams worldwide. For more information, visit asvinventions.com. And then from beginners to seasoned vets, race teams, project builds, and magazine tests. Decal Works' mission is to cater to those who love to ride. Visit decalmex.com and use promo code PulpaMex25 to get 20% off your custom graphics. Like that, Steve?
What's great. And then there's ASV.
I did ASV first. You
Oh, I didn't hear that. No. That was really short. Okay. All right. ASV
Yeah,
levers.
I don't do the whole thing every time. I switch it up.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Jeez. All right. It's time to do the fantasy picks here on the Blair Matthes project. Again, email us using the contact form on Pulp to get you a code to save with the TLD guys, Race Tech as well. I lost my big lead last week, but no problem. Just I'm back and I strung it back out again. The way that I do it, one bad week. Kellen's a fraud, giving me crappy picks, but I still managed to secure the bag. Max Anstey was my pick. I said third. He got first. Levi Kitchen, I said second. He got ninth. Tom Vial, I said fourth. He got fifth. So I was a grand total of 10 difference off of the picks. And then that Daniel Blair guy, he said Faulkner would win. And Faulkner got 17th. Now, granted, he had the flu. So let's, like Daniel got a little bit hosed on that one.
Dude, hey, so I was watching. I looked at the times. I wasn't watching. I was looking at the times. I'm like, what is going on? I was like, what's happening here? And I didn't know. And I went on Twitter and was like, what's going on here? And everyone's like, he's got the flu. And I was like, well, thank God, because he was so bad in times that I was just like, dude, really? So, I'm glad for the embarrassment of my take that
Seth Amaker. Yeah, he should be fine. Seth Amaker, you said sixth. He got fourth, 2 off. Not bad. And then RJ Hampshire, you said he would get fourth, and he got 18th. So, I'm back up front, 76 to 97. Got my 21 point lead back. And,
you feel good about that? Do you feel good that a guy with the flu and then a tough block is the reason for your success? Does that make you feel good?
Well, sir, I don't know if you remember this, but I got Enzo Lopes, and somehow Enzo Lopes didn't even make the Triple Crown race. So, I mean, he absolutely stuck it to me, my favorite Brazilian there. So, I feel fine. All right.
So how far behind now? 40?
21.
Oh, we're good. Same as RJ. We're on our way.
Long way to go. All right, Kellen Brower picked 3 riders. Let's do this again, and I'm going to string out my lead even more on Daniel.
Yes. Well, we are going to try to throw the harder picks at you again, Steve, as you are the leader again. And I like that you called me a fraud again when you actually had a good week. When you had a bad week, I'm totally fine, but you call me a fraud as soon as you have a good week. Yeah, very confusing. All right. Now that he has a race win, the variance might not be as up and down, but where does Malcolm Stewart finish in Detroit coming off his first career win? Steve Matthes.
Well, I don't think there's going to be like a 2-3 and then a 5th gear set of whoops that only he is doing. So let me go with a 6th.
Okay, 6 for Mookie. Next up, the number 1 rider at Beta, Mitchell Oldenburg.
You're so lucky you didn't say Benny. By the way, Benny said he has fans at the races saying, how's the number 2 doing? I love it. Love to see it. Keep it up, people. Jeff Bloss is going to karate kick me in the head. Benny will get 14th.
Well, I said Mitchell, but...
sorry. Mitchell will get 13th.
Okay. One spot better than where Benny will get. Yep. I like it.
Yep.
And then your last pick will dive into the 250 class. Better week than some expected, and top finishing non-factory rider Cullen Park. Where does he finish at Detroit?
Yeah, I told Cullen after the race, I'm like, I thought you'd get like 15th, dude. He's like, what? You don't believe in me? I'm like, dude, come on. You just got on the bike. You're 240 pounds. Like, all of it. He's a great dude, Cullen, by the way. If you have a chance to talk to him, any fans or anybody out there, he's a really good dude. Daniel, do you know him at all?
Little bit, and he's rad.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Okay, I'm sorry for Park Nation, Cullen Nation out there. I'm still not a believer. I will go back to 11th for Cullen Park.
Respectable. It's not the 15th like you thought, so it's better than that. All right, DB, over to you. First pick for you. He's been Mr. Oddball, as in he's crushed the odd weeks and been okay on the even weeks. We're back to an even week. Where does Jason Anderson finish this week?
Ooh, Detroit. He's had a rough go there before, but yeah, he has been back and forth, huh? Let's go 5. Go 5.
All right. 5th for JA. Next up could be his last race with this team this weekend. We're still unsure. Shane McElrath.
12.
12th. And then lastly, because everyone in the press box said, man, look at this guy. He's always solid. He's always here for some reason. How about Henry Miller on a 250 this weekend?
He's good.
Henry Miller's underrated. Henry Miller is underrated. The dude's
underrated.
just, yeah.
Dude, so I've been doing those GT arena crosses on FS1 with Brayton. That dude, I think he's lost once all year. He is phenomenal. Let's go 10. He's gonna stuff Cullen on the last corner. 10 for Miller.
Okay.
I like it.
I feel like those are picks to get me back in it, Kellen. If we're being honest, like those aren't very easy either. Should have went with Chase, Cooper, and Max.
Well, we can't go that far, but I do feel that I gave you the less variable picks.
Barely. I mean, still, God. That's fine. I'll dig out of it. I'm hungry and motivated. I'm fine. Just warming up.
What did you say? Chase,
Cooper, and Max.
Oh my God, Kellen, I would have break this computer if you gave me those picks.
1, 2, 1.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I look forward to extending my lead. We got to figure out what we're doing for the loser here. I have an idea. We'll keep it tuned. But also, Alpine Stars protection. Faulkner was wearing that Tech MX. Fuck, Kellen, what's it called? Tech Air, MX Tech Air.
Tech Air MX.
Did it go off?
Okay.
It fell.
No, it didn't
times.
go off. It's going to be available soon. They're going to try to get me one. I just look. I love the Fly guys. I wear their chest protector now. They're a Revel under protector. I have the A1 Plasma as well from the Alpine Star guys. But I just love this thing, man. I'm such a believer in it. Kudos to Alpine Stars for bringing this thing to the public. It's a little hot and it's a little heavy. You know, that's what Chase says and other Eli and these top level dogs. Faulkner, props to him for trying it out. I think it's great, and so stay tuned for it. It's got 2 inflations, and then Kellen, what was Jif saying that after 10 inflations you should send it back or something, right?
I believe it was 6 inflations.
6.
They said
something
6
about like
send
it back. Yeah,
something about the seal in it or something gets weakened after so many reinflations. So
yeah. But basically, I think this thing's huge, massive. It's going to be a game changer for older, fatter vet guys, aka me.
I think it get
I think it's great.
And cooler too, right? I mean, if this is phase 1 of it, then they phase 5 of it may be lighter, cooler, and better. So
maybe. I think it's awesome, and props to Faulkner for wearing it. I hope we see it on more guys. Alpine Stars protects, man, and whether it's the A1 Plasma Chest Pro that I wear sometimes, this Tech Air is a great thing from them. Elbow guards, knee guards, all of it. Alpine Stars protects, neck protection as well, of course. So thank you to the folks at. Holy smokes, we just got a breaking news.
What?
As we do this.
What?
Tomac to focus on returning to full fitness. He has found to have sustained a broken leg during qualifying. It was initially thought to be an ankle sprain and a bruised calf, but upon further evaluation, it was discovered he had a broken fib. Jesus.
What a savage. What an absolute savage out there. Double nose whoops, one-footed, just getting them points, man. Oh man, so he's out now. Damn.
He's out. Yeah, he's out. But
you're telling me we lost Jet and Eli to the ground, like just from dabbing? How does that happen?
I'm actually posting this on Twitter right now.
That's what I'm, so you're getting. I was gonna wait and get my ex up about you after, but you go ahead. You do that. But
okay. I just did that.
Let me talk to Kellen real quick. Kellen, how do we lose Jet Lawrence and Eli Tomac to foot dabbing? How does that happen?
I don't know. I don't like it. I'm kind of scared now that every time someone just slightly does something a little bit weird that we're going to lose them again. So what happened to cartwheeling? We don't have cartwheeling anymore. We just have foot dabs.
Yeah, as I'm saying, you take out the 2. Oh my gosh. Wow.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I will say though, I feel some slight vindication right now because 2 days ago on LVK, I theorized there was something more at play than a high ankle sprain, which is what Yamaha said. I'm like, there's no way he can't put pressure on it all day long. And I figured it would be either a fracture or something more. And people called me insane to say that I thought he fractured his leg and still raced. And then he did. So suck that, people.
That's a bummer, but also just a testament to his savagery. Because he went forward, he was hobbling around. I'm sure he was screaming in his helmet, but man, I'm gutted. That sucks.
Crazy.
Broken leg. Jesus. Just going through the woods with one leg up. What a manimal.
Wow.
All right. Well, Daniel's
Food killer,
upset.
man.
We gotta end this show. Daniel's upset. Thank you to Troy Lee, though, and thank you to Race Tech for sponsoring this show. Supercross U, check it out on Instagram. It's Daniel's new thing. And yeah, I'm looking forward to you guys listening to the show and liking it and subscribe and writing the comments about how great I am and how shitty Daniel is. That'd be fantastic. Thank you to
I agree.
Daniel's got no comment. Thank you to Zool, Seat Concepts, Firepower, Maxis, ASV Levers, Decal Works, Alpine Stars, and thank you to Kellen Brower for all his work behind the scenes and in this video. And DP, thank you. Appreciate it, buddy. All right,
Kellen,
everybody.
Don't clip bad stuff. Only good stuff, Kellen.
See you next week.